All right, here we go. It's time for the last episode of 2024 for Golf Subpar with Colt Knost and Drew Stoltz. Sleaze, let's go out with a bang, my man.
What a year. What a year it has been.
It has
hard
been
to believe it's over.
A blast. And I tell you what,
It's been long.
I've been loving this RLX gear. We've been in all the seasons as of late. Here in Scottsdale, we get to wear the short sleeve. Maybe for you, the little short sleeve cashmere.
Hello.
We were out in Nashville recently. You needed the full parka. You needed the biggest jacket RLX makes. And we had it, and we stayed nice and warm.
Exactly. I'm looking forward, though. This is perfect weather, I feel like, for the short sleeve cashmere right now.
Well, they do it all. The RLX Ralph Lauren Holiday Collection, made for the course, designed for your lifestyle. Perfect gifts for this holiday season for him and her. The RLX Collection is available in select Ralph Lauren stores, exclusive private clubs and resorts, and online at ralphlauren.com. Go get you some. It's the holiday season. By the way, you better hurry. Christmas is upon us.
It is upon us. How you looking on that front thus far?
I'm done.
How many gifts purchased?
I'm already finished, my man.
You've bought them all.
Done
you
it
did
all.
it personally?
That wasn't part of the question.
Wifey. Well, okay. We got to get something for her, though. You got that lined up?
Everything is finished, my man. I am a planner. I'm well ahead. I don't like to stress last minute for Christmas.
Okay. I'm right there.
Yeah.
Right there in the middle. I'm about to get started on this thing heavy. Amazon moves fast.
They do. I mean, imagine when you actually had to go to the store.
Back in the day, and they're like, oh, we're sold out.
Yeah.
Problems.
Tough one.
We'll have it figured out.
All right, well, let's get this thing started. We'll start with the Grant Thornton Invitational.
Who won?
Where Jake Knapp and Patty Tavatanakit brought home the title. One-shot victory over Tom Kim and Gino. I'll let you go the last name. Titakun.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know you were waiting for me on that. Yeah. There's some good names up top.
Really cool event. Mixed team event. Fun to watch. Jake Knapp and Patty, I believe it was Jake Knapp's first appearance for sure. First time they'd ever played together. And they go out there and get the W. Cool. Nice little Christmas money. They split $1 million.
Yeah. Nice little squad. UCLA Bruins. Both of them smash it. Pretty nice. Like when they do the drive swapping thing, that's a nice little situation for both of them.
How about a fun little fact that we didn't even get to on our SiriusXM show today? They won on the same day this year.
Is that right?
Jake Knapp in Mexico and Patty at the LPGA Honda Classic, I believe.
Wow. This is like
match made in heaven.
Yeah, this is like God.
Goes way back more than UCLA.
This is God working here right now. If I'd have known that, I would have bet on them.
Yeah, but cool to see them. Congrats. Enjoy the 2-week off season because you're right back at it in Maui here shortly. Some guys that are very excited to be heading to the PGA Tour in a few weeks down at Q School.
Yeah.
Outside of Jacksonville, Ponte Vedra. They played 2 golf courses, the Dye Valley course there at TPC, as well as Sawgrass Country Club, in some nasty conditions. And there was a lot to play for all around, but the main thing was top 5 and ties, get yourself to the PGA Tour. The next 40, you get better status on the Korn Ferry Tour. Everybody has Korn Ferry Tour status, but
you get the
top
first
5,
8, which is
big.
Yeah, it's massive.
And you reshuffle in. But the top 5 and ties, it was so exciting to watch. I actually was glued to the TV with that. Definitely more than the Grant Thornton. Like, I wanted to see these guys grind it out, try to get to the PGA Tour. For some guys, try to get back to the PGA Tour. About at the turn between 8 and 10, it looked like a club championship broke out, and I'm talking about the 4th flight.
I mean, if you're ever going to shit the bed, the final 9 of the final stage of Q School is the time, and a couple guys did, and a couple guys went the opposite way and just sacked up and had some of the most clutch 9 holes. You know, who was it shot 30 coming home? Was that Will Chandler? Or was it the other one?
Will Chandler shot 30 coming home. Lonto Griffin went out in 29.
Yeah, that's nice.
Ended up shooting 63, won by 3 over Hayden Buckley. Takumi Kanaya, who actually was the former #1 amateur in the world, won the Asia Pacific. He's played in 11 majors. I mean, this guy's
he was top
the real
50
deal.
in the world without having to, like, he's doing some things, so he's right where he belongs.
Yeah, you mentioned Will Chandler, back 930 to make it on the number. Alejandro Tosti, who, this kid's fun to watch, man. He's a little crazy. He goes a little nuts out there. I think if he learns how to keep it a little bit more controlled, he's going to be really, really good. Like, he's 5'8" and he was 6th in driving distance on the PGA Tour.
Makes a lot of birdies. I think he just makes some others as well.
He also
needs a good caddy on the bag, kind of rein him in a little bit.
He also he was 12 shots off the lead, I think, through 36 holes and ended up getting his card. He went nuts. He shot 65, 66 on the weekend, I believe, to get his card. And then last but not least, Matthew Rydell, who played at Vanderbilt, clutch finish. He was tied for the lead going into it, ended up shooting 2 over the last day, but got it up and down for birdie on 16. He laid up off the tee.
Iron.
Which
off
was
the tee.
Shocking to me. But hey, it looked like he knew what he was doing. He hit it to about 1.5 feet, made birdie. Up and down from 30 yards on 17 for par. missed the green right on 18, got it up, made about a 4.5, 5-footer for par to book his ticket to the PGA Tour. If he misses, it's Korn Ferry. It was something special to watch.
I mean, that's the most nerve-wracking putt you can have. By the way, when he hit it, I was like, oh boy, we're headed for a hard lip on the left side, and that thing went in. And when he picked up his ball and walked away, he was like, of course he was happy, but he seemed like pretty nonchalant about it. I was like, dude, that's the hardest putt I think you can have in golf. It's not for $10 million, but it's you have a chance to play for a ton of money, or you're kind of back on the Korn Ferry, dude. It was pretty remarkable what he did, and then of course I think the big story out of this thing was Alistair Doherty, man.
Well, every single year at Q School, there's a heartbreaking story.
Without question, which is why it's such good TV.
Yes, and I wish it would go back to the way it used to be, where it was 6 rounds and 20 guys get their card. But that was the heartbreaker, and it sucks because we know him. He lives here in Scottsdale. He's a Barstool guy. Missed out by one shot. At Korn Ferry Tour Championship when 2 guys made a couple of putts around 10 feet to knock him out.
He just needed one miss. It was Doc Redmond's.
And then you go to Sunday at Q School. He's tied for the lead going in. Looks like he's in full control. Played by far the best of anybody the second and third round. Went out and shot, I believe, 4 under par the second round when it was blowing 30 miles an hour. Followed it up with another nice round in the third round. It was in his hands. And double bogeyed the first hole, the easiest hole on the golf course, par 5, right out of the gate. Just never looked comfortable all day. Made a clutch birdie at 17 to give himself a chance. Goes to 18, ended up airmailing the green. Hit a great chip, but got up and down for par to miss out by a shot. Just gut-wrenching to miss out by a shot twice in one season.
In the span of just a couple months. Like, I'd rather finish 35th on the Korn Ferry Tour, not have a chance, and miss the tour card by 6 at finals than do that. I mean, he's clearly a good enough player to be on the PGA Tour. You got to think he gets back, but I mean, that's a hard thing to rebound from when you're just teeing it up. You're waiting to play your first Korn Ferry Tour start, and you're watching these guys playing on tour. Like, I should be out there right now. I feel like it can go one of 2 ways. We just had this, like, a very similar situation, actually, as heartbreaking as this was, with Taylor Montgomery finishing one spot out at the 2021 at the Korn Ferry Tour final standings, and then Korn Ferry Tour playoffs as well. Missed it by a shot. Yeah. Or missed it by one spot in both.
It sucks. You never want to be that guy or see that guy do it, but that's part of Q School. And like you said, that's what makes it great TV. And I have a lot of sick friends at home that back in the day, I mean, that was their favorite day of golf to watch, was the Monday final round of Q School, because you saw guys clutch up and make incredible birdies coming in, or get up and down to get their tour card, or a guy make a bogey or a double coming down the stretch. Or we've seen the heartbreak that was Jackson Brigman, who signed an incorrect scorecard to miss his PGA Tour card. I was a guy, I double bogeyed the last hole at Q School to think I missed. Ended up getting lucky and finished on the number. That tournament sucks, but it is also so rewarding and so entertaining to watch.
And 6 guys ended up getting their card this year. Mm-hmm. Next year, that will not be the case. We'll be playing off. I mean, we'll be playing off hard stop at 5 next year. It could be however many guys are in it, but there was a situation this year where it could have worked out, where a ton of guys tied for 5th, and I was like, oh my God, imagine that playoff. 6 for 1 for your tour card. It's going to be wild, but it is legitimate, especially in it. I feel like they always get terrible conditions down there. Like, it played super hard. I mean, single digits under par, winning the thing, I think.
Yeah, 4 under got your card through 4 days.
Yeah, 9 under 1. Right?
Imagine, like if it would have been this year, you'd had 3 guys for 2 spots.
I mean, that's
a little stress.
Everything. But props to those guys who went out and did it. I'm not jealous of any of you. That is a tough environment to play in, but congratulations. A few guys didn't just get their tour card. They're just headed back.
Yeah. Congrats to everybody that made it, though. Even the guys that finished top 45. I know that was a big deal for a lot of guys. There was one guy who'd been to Q School 12 times and never made it past second stage. Got there, and I believe he finished like 8th.
12 times.
Actually had a chance to get his PGA Tour card.
You got to love the game to never get past second. So that was his first time at finals. Wow.
He actually, God, I'm going to look up his name real quick because it's such a good story. It was this man right here.
There was another guy who birdied his last 3 to get in the top 45, which the top 45 is everything. You get those first 8 starts, you're pretty much set for most of the year. And if you don't get in that, like you don't get you have to Monday in to even try to get in the reshuffle. It's brutal.
So Jin Chung, who actually missed by a shot getting his PGA Tour card, but you've never seen a man happier to finish tied for 8th and miss out by a spot. Like I said, 12 trips to Q School. First time ever making it to finals. He's now got guaranteed starts. He actually got his Q School paid for by a member of his church, who I believe, from what I've been told, he doesn't know who it was, but somebody paid for his Q School for him to go to give it a try for his 12th time, and he goes through and gets all the way through and has status now for the first ever time on the Korn Ferry Tour.
Damn, it's a nice story. A little anonymous donor. Was he done then if he didn't get the money for Q School? I mean, because if you go through all 3 stages, caddies, hotels, it's $5,000 to get in, but it's way more than that when you add it all up.
But a lot of cool stories coming out of there. Once again, why I'm a big fan of bringing Q School back to what it used to be.
Mm-hmm. Make Q School great again.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's switch gears here. We put on our golf architect hats this past week. We actually went out to Nashville, Tennessee, beautiful Nashville, and spent some time at 8 a.m.'s new golf course that they're in the process of building called Bounty Club. And for me, this was the first time I'd ever been to a place where a golf course where it's actually getting built. And it's just basically all dirt, but a lot of things were shaped. You could see where the tees were going to be, the greens were going to be. A couple of greens were shaped, but that was such a cool experience. And I think this place is going to be phenomenal.
I think it's going to be spectacular. The piece of land was a lot different than what I thought it was. You got rolling hills. There's holes where you can see downtown Nashville. It's beautiful. They got great designers. King Collins, which is like from the Coor Crenshaw team, and that mold, very natural terrain, bunkering, things like that. I think it's going to be a home run. And it's in Nashville, which is
What'd you
not
think
a
of
terrible
Nashville?
place.
I know you haven't spent a lot of time there. It's one of my favorite cities in the world.
I hadn't been like out in Nashville in a good while. We went right there, Broadway, the whole thing. I mean, dude, it's more ramped up than I remember. It's like Vegas and Fort Worth. Not a kid. That's it. It's just at all hours of all
kid.
days. And then it's country everywhere you go. And we caught it on probably one of the coldest days they'll have this year, and it was still flooded.
It was awesome.
In the middle of the week, too.
Yeah. Justin Timberlake, who's also involved in the golf course, put on a hell of a show there at the Bridgestone Arena. But I love country music. I love some cold beer. You actually had a cold beer.
Actually.
I actually documented it.
Had a handful of them.
Yeah, but man, it was a time. Thanks to ADM for taking us out there. King Collins, you're doing fantastic work, if we must say so ourselves, as experts in the golf architecture world.
Place is going to be sweet, and it's hard to believe that golf may be being played out there in less than a year.
I hope so.
Next fall is kind of hopefully the grand opening.
Yep.
So it's going to be sweet.
Yep. It was a lot of fun going out to Nashville. If anybody needs a member guest partner out there, I'm available.
There you go. Holler at your boy.
All right, Sleaze. Well, it's time to get to our final interview of 2024. But before we get to him,
not before I tell you about Troon Access, okay? The ultimate way to play Troon courses with exclusive access to savings at over 150 participating Troon courses, including tour stops like Kapalua, Tiburon, and Seaview. Also, if you're making a little golf trip to this great state of Arizona, they got Troon North, Quintero, Eagle Mountain, Ak-Chin, where they host first stage of Q School. Members get unlimited 15% savings every time you play, and up to 50% off with Troon Access Plus, and earn rewards points every time you play that can be redeemed for free rounds. Save 15% on Troon Access or Troon Access Plus with code SUBPAR at troon.com/access. 150 tracks out there. They got some good ones.
A lot of golf courses.
Our guy Jeff Ma involved in the operation now, so
yes,
it'll be good.
Love it. All right, let's get to our guest. This fella, he's a lot smarter than both of us from what we figured out, but he had himself a hell of a rookie season on the PGA Tour, especially towards the end. He finished top 5 in 4 of his last 6 events. Easily could have won a couple of them, especially the Wyndham Championship. But this guy's a stud, man. He can play. He smashes it, and he can roll the rock. Max Greyserman joins us on Golf Subpar.
All right, joining us today, we have a rising star on the PGA Tour. Just wrapped up a phenomenal rookie season where he had 6 top 10s, 3 runners-up, all the way up to 37th on the OWGR. Max Greyserman is in the house. Max, pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Man, it's been a hell of a run. 4 top 4s in your last 6 starts to end the season. It was a really solid season before. You got off to a little slow start, then you started to find your footing a little bit, but the end has been an absolute heater. What did you figure out?
I was it was in around May. I was kind of struggling a little bit with my swing and just kind of dialed in the equipment a little bit. We looked at some stats, me and Callaway, and noticed maybe off the tee a little bit of leak for how far I'm hitting it. So we put a mini driver in the bag, which kind of helped a lot, and then made a little bit of a swing change with my coach, Jeff Smith. And I think it was really just about getting comfortable with being out there, understanding where I'm at, what I'm capable of. And I think that's what I didn't do well at the very beginning of the year. And once I started to realize that I felt like I belonged and I was working on the right things, it just kind of it was just a domino effect. And now I feel very comfortable out there, and I'm really excited for next year.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit disappointed the season's over. You're just kind of hitting your stride.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you finished
if we
3 runners
kept
up.
playing, maybe I would have won or something.
Yeah, a couple more weeks. I feel like you were trending in the right direction. But how you pointed back to May. Is that how long it took for you to feel comfortable, like you belong? You show up for work every week, and it feels like business as usual. No deer in the headlights.
There's definitely an adjustment between the Korn Ferry and the PGA in terms of it's almost like we call it like a traveling circus. The number of people that are not only obviously you have the fans are way more fans, but media, player dining, therapy room. It's just a lot going on, and I feel like I needed a little bit of time to adjust. And I thought I was playing nicely, kind of February, March, April timeline. I just couldn't. I like to think I'm a pretty good putter, and the POA greens to start the year out west, I think kind of fooled me a little bit. If you go on like Day to Golf and you look at my putting stats, it was like bright red. And then as soon as I got off the West Coast, it was just all green. So I think I just needed to get off the POA a little bit as well.
Yeah, you do.
And,
Yeah, you do 2 things. I mean, you do a lot of things very nice, but you hit it a mile and you can roll the rock. I mean, 2 very important things out there. A very good combo. But in your rookie season,
I think that's pretty important for the modern game.
Oh,
hit
yeah.
it far and putt it well.
No doubt about it. But I mean, finishing 48th in the FedEx, your rookie season is it's awesome. I mean, it gets you in all the signature events next year. But if you're looking back on your rookie season, what was kind of the moment where you're like, okay, I've made it. I'm on the PGA Tour. I've reached the big time.
I think I had a top 10 in Houston. That kind of, in terms of playing in front of a lot of people and getting comfortable with it. I mean, early on in the season, you have the Farmers, I think was my first event. So it was like, wow, these crowds are no joke. There's a lot of people out here. There's a lot of drunk people saying some crazy stuff. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's a unique experience. And I felt like it kind of gets the juices going a little bit, and something I really enjoy. And, then I come back home and I'm not playing with any fans or something, and I get bored. And I'm like, all right, let's get back out on tour. But getting that top 10 at the Houston Open, I think, was a big stepping stone. And Scotty was kind of in the mix down the stretch. So it was good to be playing against him, and then finished 4th at the Zurich, had another opportunity there down the stretch. I think it's just about getting those reps under pressure and kind of in that top 5 on the leaderboard, I think is really important. And it was important for me to adjust to the PGA Tour. And once I got more and more of those reps, I just continued to get more comfortable. And I was just off and running kind of that summer period, June, July, August, and into the fall as well.
Yeah, starting in about July, it just seemed like every week you were playing good golf, put yourself in position a ton of times.
I felt like I was struggling in kind of late April, early May, and then early June rolled around, and I was doing a lot of good things, but I wasn't putting it together in the same week. We would look at the stats and be like, man, my putting was really good this week. And then the next week it was like my driving was really good, but my putting wasn't. So I was just talking with my coach and my caddy about staying patient. And then all of a sudden, that's when the seconds started to come. It just kind of put everything together in the same week.
Yeah, and you do 2 of the major things we just talked about, driving and putting. You're in the top 20 on both of those. There's not many people. I think Wyndham Clark might be the only other one. But how much of that, your length and your putting, is just like the innate ability to do it? And if you have to work harder on either aspect, which one is it?
I think driving comes a little more natural to me, just having the speed, even though I'm kind of a smaller frame. I worked hard on that in college to kind of pick up my speed with my coach and my trainer. But the putting is something I worked on, and I learned from a lot of people over the years. I always tried to put myself in front of players that were better than me. And right after college in Vegas, I was doing it a lot with like Aaron Wise, Scott Piercy, the first 2 that come to mind. And then when I moved to Florida, Denny McCarthy, I played with a lot, obviously a great putter. And I just picking up little things like Jason Day, I picked up a little thing from him. Denny, I picked up a little thing from him. And then I do some drills that, Scott Fawcett from Decade Golf taught me. I'm just kind of picking little pieces from everyone and making my own process and making sure that I stick to it. And I think that's paid huge dividends over the years in my practice, and it shows in the results.
It seems like you're big into analytics and all your stats. Has it always been that way, or is that something you've kind of developed as you've turned professional?
Always been that way because I just come from an analytical background. My dad has a PhD in statistics, so it's tough to not have an analytical background when he's in the background with that. And I've actually tried to go away from analytics, at least in my head. I used to do all my stats after every round and type in every shot and spit out all the numbers and stuff like that. And I find that I think I want a clear head out there because I already am thinking way too much relative to everyone else with the numbers. So maybe I've done the reverse. Most people are kind of going into the stats. I'm at least in my head going away from that, but I still go, at the beginning of the week, I'm still looking at all the data and all the numbers telling me how to play the golf course. But I'm trying to be as least as possible out there, kind of like a DJ mentality.
Which I think is an enormous asset. But I feel like most guys fall into one or two buckets, either super analytical / technical with their golf swing or not. Are you that same way with your golf swing? Are you like a position guy, always checking on it, looking at a video?
Same way. It's like the more I look at my swing on video, the worse I play. So I'm like, why am I doing this? So I can go back. I can literally go back in stretches of time on my phone, and without even knowing the results, I can tell when I played well because it's when there's the least amount of swing videos on my phone. That's when I play well.
Can you maybe?
But then you always
go ahead.
You start playing bad, and you try to overanalyze, and it's kind of a back and forth battle with yourself.
Maybe a little heads up for us. Say like, hey, I haven't filmed my swing in 3 weeks, guys. Get ready, it's coming.
Yeah, give you a little pick. Yeah,
that'd be great.
I can just tell you, it looks good. You don't need to look at it every week. I've seen it a lot. It looks pretty good. I just keep your head down doing what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned living down in Florida. You're West Palm, Jupiter area. Pretty much half the PGA Tour and all professional golfers live down there. Who are some of the guys you play with, and where do you spend most of your time?
I joined Medalist in February of 2020, the month before COVID. And now you can't join a golf club if you tried in South Florida. So I got really lucky with that when I moved down there. And I started to play with pretty much, we had a huge stable of pros. I was playing with Aaron Wise, Denny McCarthy, Matt Wallace, Alex Noren, Peter Uihlein, Matt Wolf, Steve Marino, Ricky, JT would pop in every now and then as well. I'm probably missing a few names. Olin Brown, senior and junior, play at a Medalist as well. Obviously, you have Tiger. I remember playing in the member in 2020 the first time, and Tiger actually played in the member. So it's just really cool to be around a very successful pros and learn from them. And I think that's really helped me in the last few years, just being around those guys and picking up little things, and it's good competition too. We have some good games. If you're not shooting 65 or lower at Medalist, you're going to get lapped around, and you're probably going to have to empty your wallet a little bit.
A little different than playing against the dentist and some insurance guys here in Scottsdale.
We don't have Tiger in any of our member flights.
You mentioned that. Have you been able to pick Tiger's brain at all?
A little bit. He's obviously, with his injury, not around a lot, and if he is, he's probably watching Charlie. Brings out Charlie and watch him play. Haven't had too much experience with him, but Ricky's been kind enough to share a few things, and I probably play most of my golf here with Pete Uihlein, Matt Wolf, Denny McCarthy. I would say are the main guys, and so I'm getting poached by Pete Uihlein and Matt Wolf on live. I'm trying to ignore them.
Yeah, don't go. We like you on the PGA Tour.
Is there ever a time? I mean, it's a great place to play out of. There's so many pros. You just mentioned them, but it's always like you're there, always around golf. Is there anywhere you have where you can get away? If you're just like, man, I'm burnt on golf. I don't want to be around it all the time. I need to just check out.
I was talking to someone. I went to a really close friend's wedding from Duke this past weekend, and someone asked me, like, what are your hobbies outside of golf? And I literally stood there for a second. I'm like, man, I don't think I have any hobbies, and I think I really need to find one because I just don't have any. I enjoy, going fishing or something like that. It's a lot of fun in Jupiter, but I want to boat and have the hassle of doing all that stuff.
You could get into, I'm sorry. Colt and I like to gamble. You want to get into gambling?
I do not recommend that.
To kill time and your bank account. It's fun.
Yeah.
That's
I'm reading. I like to read a few books here and there. Maybe. I mean, I made a lot of money for the first time in my life. I should probably try and figure out what to do with it. So
Well,
I'm reading like some self-help books.
We can help you spend some of it. I promise you that. But by the way, gambling, it's not a hobby. It's a disease. Okay.
I don't want to be cured.
Yeah. Well, I know you're a dog lover. We just got to meet your dog before the show started, Lily.
Oh yeah.
And
He's
also
right here on the floor next to me.
Yeah, it said in your PGA Tour bio, it says you want to own a lot of dogs. What's a lot?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, we got 4 in the family. We got 4 golden doodles, so we're probably about halfway there.
Okay.
So
8 dogs.
8, a little 8
I only
piece.
have 1. I have 1. Pete, my buddy Pete Uline, he has 3 huskies.
Yeah.
So I got to at least catch up to him.
I love it. Do you travel with the dog?
Yeah, she comes to most events. She's not going to go overseas because it's a little hectic with like the visas and stuff like that. But yeah, she'll be on the West Coast swing for sure. And
Nice.
she'll come out. My dad brings his dog out as well. So it's a huge traveling dog party.
That's a nice party. Let's go back to when you were living in Vegas. You talked about earlier some of the guys you were picking their brain. I believe for a period of time you lived with Wyndham Clark. I would love to hear some of the annoying living habits.
I probably should have mentioned that I also play with the reigning U.S. Open champion Wyndham Clark or something like that.
He's easy to forget. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. I lived with him for a whole year in Vegas. And it was kind of an interesting time because I was just coming out of Duke and I hadn't really established myself. And to be honest, I didn't feel like I was good enough at that time to compete on tour. And then Wyndham was on the Korn Ferry Tour, but really struggling, kind of very up and down. Mentally, I don't think he was in a great spot. And I witnessed him hit like the worst shot I've ever seen on the 18th hole at TPC Summerlin. He basically hit it off the tee on 18 onto the 17th hole. That's how far left this ball went.
Nice.
And to see him kind of go from that and to put in the work that he did to get where he is now is really inspiring. And I feel like I can kind of relate to that a little bit, kind of the struggles with maybe belief and confidence in yourself early on in your career. And so I'd love to have, kind of a roadmap in my career like his, where he just kind of slowly put the pieces together. And once he realized that he was off and running, and I was doing I was running the stats a little bit. I was looking at maybe player comps for me. Where can I get better? And what would that look like? And on the PGA Tour website, I went to a player comp, and the player comp that was most similar to mine and was just slightly better in maybe strokes gained approach or off the tee and stuff like that. And the profile that looked as similar to mine but slightly better was actually Wyndham Clark. So it's kind of a crazy full circle moment, and hopefully I can improve a little bit and get to where he's been.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just finished your rookie season. You're 37th in the world, dude. Like, I mean, you are moving up fast. Do you ever sit there and just look and be like, damn, I'm seriously one of the best players in the world?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I kind of live day by day, and I don't think too much in the future. I feel like my dad kind of just taught me to kind of plod along and not get too maybe overly hyped up or underhyped up about where I am in life. So I'm 37th right now, and that's a great spot to be. And it looks like I'll be going to Augusta, and it's just crazy to think about from where I was a year ago or even 2 years ago when I had wrist surgery in 2022, and I didn't really know if I was going to keep playing pro. And now I'm just, living the dream and probably going to Augusta. So it's just crazy where life can take you,
Yeah. Can you go back to that when you hurt your wrist and you had to take some time off? And like I read, and I feel like sometimes golfers say, I was this close to quitting like years later after they make it. Were you actually close to giving up the game? And if so, what were you planning on doing?
Yeah, I was 27, had been dealing with wrist injuries on and off, was like kind of stuck on the Korn Ferry Tour, it felt like, and then finally had wrist surgery, and then went kind of to my brother-in-law's office who works in real estate and just kind of take a look at what he's doing. I wouldn't necessarily say I went to work, but I was kind of trying to learn a little bit, broaden the horizons. And, at that age also, I had plenty of friends from Duke who were working in New York City and finance and all this stuff, and just kind of seeing where they were in their career. I was thinking, well, maybe I could go hang out with them and kind of enjoy life in a different way. But I just decided that I think I still had, my story wasn't finished in golf, and just kind of woke up one day and said, back to work, get this wrist thing over with and right back to work. And as soon as I got back on the Corn Ferry Tour the following year after surgery, I was off and running. I was never looked back, finished ninth, and then this rookie year. So very thankful. I feel like the wrist surgery gave me a little bit of perspective because it showed me what life would have been like had I not played golf. And I think I was okay with that. And the fact that I was okay with that, I never really had a plan B, but that I was okay for plan B, I think it gave me perspective to go chase plan A, which was pro golf.
Yeah, plan A's looking rather nice at the moment. You mentioned you're going to most likely be in the Masters next year. This year at the U.S. Open, 21st, a really solid week, and I believe just your second major championship. Give us your thoughts on that. Yeah. What do you remember from Pinehurst?
Amazing course. I thought it was really fun and challenging and not the traditional kind of small fairways, long rough, chop it out. It gave you a lot of optionality around the greens, and you had to really think your way around the green. Do I putt this? Do I bump and run a 9-iron? Do I flop a 60? So I think giving that optionality to the player is interesting and provides a lot of variety and makes you think. Maybe second guess yourself. Maybe you made the right decision. Maybe you didn't. And I played with Sahith Theegala in the final round. So he's kind of a buddy from the Corn Ferry Tour. I'll tell you this quick story. And I sit down at the beginning of the week. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday in player dining. There's no one else. It's a small player dining. He sits down at the same table and he's like, "Hey, yo, what's up, buddy? How you been?" "Great." And he's like, "How's the season this year on the Corn Ferry Tour?" And I'm like, "Buddy, I'm not on the Corn Ferry Tour anymore. I'm on the PGA Tour this year with you. I know you're in the signature events and all that." And like in classic Sahith fashion, he was so apologetic and "I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah." And then I actually get paired with him on Sunday. And so we're playing and we're both playing pretty well. And I think I shot a couple under that final round in tough conditions. And then we get done on the 18th tee and I shake his hand and I'm like, "Not bad for a Corn Ferry Tour player, eh?" And he's now, every time I see him, I saw him in Memphis, every time I see him, he always gives me a smirk because he knows I'm about to say the same thing.
That's good. I like that.
That's awesome. I really personally like that U.S. Open. I know Pinehurst isn't like your classic U.S. Open setup, but the optionality and the thinking that went on around there, I really enjoyed seeing what players decided to do.
And the fans, there's so many people at the U.S. Open. It's so much fun. I had, Pinehurst, I grew up kind of going to Pinehurst, being from New Jersey on the East Coast. I would go to all the U.S. Kids events there. And it was just kind of like a total full circle moment. I'd been there, I'd played U.S. Kids going way back, played North and South Amber in college. I probably played at least a dozen tournaments in Pinehurst as a junior. So it was cool to come back for sure. And have all my family there.
Put on a hell of a good show, had a great finish. I think the native area played a little easier than most of us thought going in, but other than that, I thought it was great. But you're going to go to Augusta, most likely next year, top 50 in the world. I got to think on paper, I don't know if you've ever played there before, but that's got to be a golf course that you think driving it long and being a great putter are kind of what it's about.
I like fast, slopey greens. You think of Wyndham Championship Sedgefield, kind of similar, maybe green style, that they're rolling probably 13, 14 and very slopey. So that'll be good. And then, I got this mini driver. I'd like to think a mini driver would be nice around Augusta, hitting those draws around the corners. So that's something I'll look into. And I'm going to play there on December 20th, which I'm really excited for. Actually totally unrelated to the Masters. It was just an invite I got from someone, which I'm excited to take up on. I've never been to play. So that'll be fun.
Man, that's good.
I can use it as a scouting trip.
Yeah, 100%. Do you want me to say my bold prediction I gave on radio the other day?
Give your bold prediction, dude.
We were going through it.
What are you saving it for?
Here's my early bold prediction for 2025. Max Greyserman is going to be a factor in his first Masters.
Yeah, I like that.
How about that,
I have
Max?
been wrong
That's got to be
before,
flattering as hell. Colt's got you contending at your first Masters.
I'm not going to tell you to bet on me. I'm not going to tell you to do it. That's up to you.
Do not film your swing 3 weeks before the Masters.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
Colt also thought the Cowboys would be good this year.
Tell me no phone policy 3 weeks before the Masters.
Yes. Yeah. And wrong about the Cowboys. I did not.
He thought the Cowboys were going to win the Super Bowl this year, just for the record.
This is not true at all. He's absolutely lying to you, Max. Speaking of that, do you follow any other pro sports? Obviously, you went to Duke. I'm sure you're a big Duke basketball fan.
Yeah, they're looking. They lost to Kentucky. I think it was last week or something like that. So and they got 2 really big games coming up, top 10 matchups. I mean, it doesn't really matter this early in the season. It's all about March. I follow college basketball, but I kind of like the NHL. I befriended a few people who worked in the NHL, went to the Stanley Cup Finals. This last year, I went to Rangers Devils Game 7. So I think it was 2 years ago. So, yeah, I kind of like hockey.
There is nothing better
Never played
than playoff hockey.
That'd be a good hobby to get into.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that might be a little dangerous. I might have to take out an insurance policy.
Sleaze can help you. We got a great video of Sleaze skating.
I used to play pickleball a lot, and now I used to play pickleball, and I think Bernard Langer tore his Achilles playing pickleball.
Yep.
So now I do not play pickleball anymore.
And if a robot can hurt himself playing pickleball, then anybody can hurt himself.
He also just broke his age like 4 days in a row.
Yeah, he did come back stronger.
And won the Charles Schwab Cup.
Yeah, I texted him. He actually lives in the same community my parents live in Florida. So I texted him and I said, if I'm playing Augusta, I need some tips.
Oh, it's a good
This is
man.
his last one.
Mm-hmm.
He'll probably be willing to help you out, I would assume.
Yeah.
Give me the go back into Duke basketball for a second. The best Duke basketball game you attended while at school.
2000. Yeah, this is an easy one because 2015 Duke UNC. I snuck into the game. My dad had tickets with my brother, so it was just them two. And he texts me. He says, "Come outside the stadium." So I go outside the stadium, and then we come back in, and he pretends that my brother that had just entered. And they just didn't really think twice about it. And we walked right through. And so then I'm in, and now I got to figure out where to sit. And I go and sit behind the opposing bench, is kind of where sometimes they bring recruits. So I just went and kind of just stood there, snuck my way in, and Duke goes on to beat North Carolina in overtime. It was Tyus Jones, Jaleel Okafor, Justice Winslow was on the team, and they actually won the national championship that year. But yeah, they beat UNC in overtime, and like my head was ringing leaving the stadium because it's just so loud.
That is awesome.
I could barely sleep because I just like, you know, when your ear, you go to like a concert or something, your ear's just ringing.
How many students get tickets in that thing? How many spots they have for students?
First come, first serve. I think it's like, it probably comfortably sits 4,000 people, 4,000, but they just jam the students in. So you get like 7,000. And so it's always first come, first serve. So they just start a line day of, and then for the big games that you camp out in, they call it K-ville. So you camp out in front of the stadium. You're essentially holding your place in line for, you know, if you're playing a ranked UVA or something, it might be 2 days. If you're playing UNC, it's going to be a month or two. And so that's how they work it. And so they also do a walk-up line for a small section and student section for UNC. They'll do like a 1-2 day walk-up line. And so when I was in a fraternity, they would have the freshmen hold everyone's place in the walk-up line. So that was kind of how they did it.
Well, did you ever do the whole camping out thing?
No, I didn't have time for that. I just had a freshman wait in line for me.
That's right.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Who are these people that can live outside in a tent for a month? I mean, that just seems like unbelievable. I was expecting like a week.
But, I mean, good for them. They're just typing code on their computer and sitting outside in a tent when it's 40 degrees.
Yeah.
I'm out.
God bless them.
Yeah.
God bless them.
But hey, there's no better environment than Cameron Indoor. That's so sick. By the way, you snuck in the game. You're probably never welcome back.
For sure.
Yeah, they're probably going to hear this.
It's definitely one of the best environments in sports because it's literally the size of a high school gym. I'm not exaggerating.
And it's hotter than hell in there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not very comfortable. If you're in the student section, you're not sitting and you're sweating relentlessly. It's not comfortable.
We were actually at a college tournament at Pinehurst, got rained out the last day, and our old, like one of the people that worked for the athletic director was now at Duke. And so he took us on a little tour through it. And you walk in, they flip the lights on, and it is a high school gym. You hear the lights buzz.
That's why it's sweet.
If you go to the Duke campus and you just walked around and you didn't really know too much about Duke basketball, you kind of knew about it. If you just walked around the whole campus, I bet you wouldn't be able to pick out which building the basketball stadium is. Because it looks the same as every other building. Yeah. It's not that big, and it's got the same like Gothic architecture.
Are you a John Shire fan?
If he wins a little more, yeah.
Tough spot to be in following Krzyzewski. I mean, tough
shoes
like
to fill. He's doing a
Saban.
great job with recruiting, obviously. He's getting the best recruits year after year, but that's kind of what Duke always does, and it just depends what happens in March. You got to be honest, it's tough to win. You're looking at a 60-14 bracket. It's just, I'm a math guy. It's kind of tough. It's kind of tough to win that many games in a row and not have a loss.
What's the young kid they got now that's taking
Cooper
over?
Flagg.
Cooper Flagg. Yeah, he's sick.
Yeah, he's a stud.
That's awesome. We actually met John Shire at Augusta a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Golf guy. Likes his golf. That might be a nice little... He'll probably be there this year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Check you out.
If he wants to play, let him know.
Get some tickets.
Love it.
You don't have to sneak in anymore. You can do a little quid pro quo. A little, hey, you want to come to Augusta? I'm going to need to come to Cameron whenever the hell I want.
And sit on
the bench. And play 3 to 5 minutes.
That Augusta ticket might be a little more worth it than the basketball ticket, so I'll have to throw in some extra perks in there too.
That's true.
Fair.
By the way, your family, a bunch of athletes as well. Sisters are tennis. Your brothers are good golfers. Who's the best athlete in the family? You can say yourself.
No, it's not me. It's probably it's either my mom or my brother who plays at Stanford, Dean. Because when he was 15, 16, he was swinging it like 125.
I hate him.
Yeah.
God,
I was swinging it
it's
like
different.
105 when I was that age.
Yeah.
Swinging
There's nothing wrong with that.
that's ridiculous.
Didn't one of your
he's got
other
crazy speed.
your
My
other brother just won the
plays
New
golf
Jersey
at-
State Am?
Yeah, he won the New Jersey State Am, and then Dean won the Florida Am. So he didn't win the New Jersey one. I don't know how many times he's played it, but we've all got a State Am. So there you go. And then my mom played college tennis at Rutgers, so she's pretty good, and she was a pretty good golfer as well. I think she got to potentially low single-digit handicap when she was playing a little bit. And my wife played tennis at Duke. So we've got a nice little recipe going. Hopefully the kids are good.
Damn.
It's good DNA.
No kidding.
It's good DNA.
All right. Well,
You got there.
let's get to the E9 here. We're going to have a little fun with you here. 9 fun questions. We ask this one to everyone, Max. You can be anybody else for a day. Walk in their shoes for a day. Anyone in the history of time, who would it be?
Wow. Maybe like someone who invented, I don't know, electricity or the wheel or something. Imagine being like how famous you were if you invented the wheel back in history. You'd be the most famous guy in the world.
That's a first.
Mm-hmm. Electricity. Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, you heard of
If
him?
I recollect correctly. That's TCU education right there, brother. You know what I mean? It's along the same lines as Duke. All right, that's a good answer. That's a thoughtful answer. All right, first one from me. How often do you get told you look like Rory McIlroy, and have you ever used it to your benefit?
Yes, often. I actually used to be way more often when I was probably late high school and in college. I feel like as the years have gone by, people have asked me a little less, but I still do get it every year. And this one time I went to the Barclays at Plainfield Country Club in New Jersey, just as a spectator. But ironically, I was wearing Oakley at the time because I was on their junior kind of ambassador program, and Rory was wearing Oakley at the time as well. And he was hurt that week. He was not playing. And I was also hurt, and I had a cast on my wrist. And so I was walking around, and I get absolutely mobbed by people thinking I'm Rory McIlroy in the middle of the tournament in the crowd. But the problem was the first people that mobbed me didn't speak English at all, and they're just shoving these hats and stuff in my face. So I'm like, well, the only way out of here is you just sign a few things. So I just signed my name, and maybe a few other people came, and I just signed my name, and eventually the crowd dispersed. And then this mom came with her 2 daughters and said, hey, can we have a picture? And so I took a picture, and I hope it's like not in their living room or something, like Rory McIlroy and the 2 daughters.
That's beautiful.
Did you sign your own name or did you sign Rory's name?
I saw my own. Yeah, I don't want to.
They probably looked at it like, that's a weird signature for Rory.
Mm-hmm. All right, next one. You can't pick the major or the players. Tournament that would mean the most to you to win.
I would like something kind of close to home, near New Jersey, but they don't really have too many. Like there's one in Philly this year. The Truist is at Philly Cricket Club. So that one would probably mean the most, something close to home. And I don't know, there's something about Riv in LA. Just something always been about it. Every time I've been there, I got very close friends that live near there. Just something about that place. I think that would be a special one for me.
Yes, it would. And you get the trophy from Tiger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Be good conversation piece at the member.
Yeah.
All right, we just talked about your brothers and how good they are. You got the one that won New Jersey, I believe. How is it? Is it possible that he's not 19 years old? Because he has the most full beard I've ever seen for a kid fresh out of high school. It looks like Abraham Lincoln.
I think my mom's been asking him to shave it for a year. He'll go full beard and not cut his hair for a year, and then he'll go clean shaven and have a nice trim, and he'll just go back and forth. I think it's just like a rite of passage maybe for Princeton. You just got to grow like a huge beard to go into the library or something, because I don't know. Everyone's been telling him he needs to trim it off, and he finally did. So
Hold on.
It's like a hockey playoff beard for a kid coming out of high school. It's unbelievable. I couldn't come close to it.
Hold on. So you went to Duke. You have a brother at Stanford and a brother at Princeton?
yeah, I'm the dumbest one in the family.
God, non-Ivy League bum ass.
God. Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Where did your sisters go?
My sister went to Emory in Georgia,
Yeah.
Atlanta. Yeah, she didn't really do the school. The school thing wasn't really for her, so we had to pick up the slack.
What's the hierarchy of smartness on the brothers?
Obviously me, and then everyone else.
All right.
I like that answer.
My dad is like up there, and then we're probably all down here somewhere. I'm just trying to get half as smart as him, and I think I'm in a good spot.
Fair enough.
All right. I think I'm going to know the answer to this next one because you have all golden doodles in your family. But if you were a dog, what breed would you be?
I mean, probably golden doodle, because you're just the prettiest dog out there, so everyone wants to pet you and give you attention. Although the smart ones, the German Shepherds are pretty smart.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of rough rider. You probably wouldn't mess around with the German Shepherd, so I might have to go that way. No one's going to mess with you if you're a German Shepherd.
A crossbreed between a doodle and a German Shepherd. What would that make?
Sounds like a good business model.
Something sick.
Yeah.
Something sick. All right, that's a good one. Back to Duke basketball for a moment. Grayson Allen, I believe he was there when you were there, correct?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Okay, which describes him more accurately? Hard-nosed, blue-collar player, plays to the whistle, or borderline psycho dirty player?
Depends who you ask. If I didn't go to Duke, I'd probably say borderline psycho. And if I went to Duke, he's kind of hard-nosed. I didn't get to know him too well. He seemed like a kind of quiet, kind of went about his business type of guy. Didn't seem like, a psychopath from afar, but definitely a few sketchy plays there in the basketball court. You can't deny it.
He's here
He
in
had
Phoenix
to run
now.
for a while.
Right?
He literally he's like one of my neighbors now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just ran into
Plays for the
the other
Suns.
day.
He's definitely famous. If you're a basketball player in Duke campus, you are God. You are certainly God. You just
He's turned
stand.
into
You
a
just
nice
stand
pro.
at the bar at the nightclub, and you just stand there, and the ladies just come to you.
Yeah, that's got
I
to
get it.
be a pretty good gig. Yeah, it's a lot like playing golf at SMU. You know what I mean? Same deal.
100%.
Same deal.
All right. I heard you like to tinker with your equipment quite a bit. You've tried a few things here or there.
Oh, yeah.
What's the craziest thing you've tried?
Craziest thing I've tried, probably just like switching driver heads like every day of the week at a tournament.
Oh, wow.
It's probably the craziest thing I've ever done. I've experimented. I've tinkered quite a bit with the drivers, I would say.
I heard you play like the most forgiving driver.
The most what?
Forgiving. Like
Forgiving?
some that the high handicaps might buy.
I'm always the high handicap. I mean, I'll take any help I can get. Let's be honest. Why wouldn't
True.
you? Right?
That's my deal.
I'm not going to play. Why do I need to play a blade iron? I can just play a cabbie back.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
No one should play blade irons anymore.
Yeah. If you're just hitting the middle of the face every time, sure. But we don't, let's be honest. We don't do that every time. We do it most of the time. Not every time. This mini driver, though, I got to tell you, this mini driver, they're up to something with this mini driver.
Tell me what you like
I don't know
about
why
it.
more
love
people
it.
don't use it.
It is popular. Do you play both at the same time?
Yeah, I go driver, mini driver, 2-iron. I don't have a traditional wood. And what I like the most about the mini driver is we looked at the stats, and I was kind of leaking off, not having good stats off the tee, and it was my 3-wood wasn't that accurate. So I'd been asking Callaway for 2 years for a mini driver. For 2 full years, I was just bugging him because TaylorMade had one, and finally, they show up in May. It was like the Charles Schwab or something, and they're like, all right, we finally have a mini driver. It's like, perfect, let me get one. And then I tested it for a few weeks, and then I put it in. The key is with the mini drivers, it's obviously not as good to hit off the deck as the 3-wood. But if you're a higher speed player, how often are you going to hit a 3-wood into a green on a par 5? And should you even be hitting a 3-wood into a green on a par 5? So that was kind of the numbers thing. And I hit mini driver, 4 or 5 times around on average off the tee. So you're just picking up a little bit of distance and a little bit of accuracy. You're not really sacrificing anything. So I was just kind of like looking at the numbers and understanding my game and knowing that it fits perfectly.
How much loft's on your mini driver?
We're at 13.3 at 5-wood length, 42.5 inches. So it looks like it looks like a kid's club.
Yeah.
Looks like a kid's driver. Is it easy to hit off the deck, off the ground?
Yeah, it is. It's obviously not as easy as a 3-wood. It depends on the type of grass, right? If you're on kind of that dormant winter Bermuda, it's going to be tough to get in the air. If you get a little, maybe a Pass Palm or a Zoysia underneath it, or maybe an overseed, it's going to be a lot easier to hit off the deck. So I do have a 3-wood just in case as well, but I have not used it since. I put the mini driver in the bag at the start of the John Deere. And so I'll let you guys figure out if I should keep it in the bag or not.
Yeah.
It's
gone pretty well.
Lines up pretty well with the surge in play.
Hey,
Yeah,
Callaway,
we don't need
earlier.
numbers to tell us that that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Last one for me. Do not go easy here. I need you to be as honest as you can. Most annoying habit Wyndham Clark had as a roommate. Go.
He built this putting board and he left it in the living room of the apartment. And he would just this putting board was running like 20 on the stem. And he thought it was a good idea and it'd make him better. And he put Velcro on top of basically like ice borderline. And he would just putt on this thing. And I'm just like, what are you doing? And he actually left it there, and I had to dispose of it. I brought it back home, and my parents said, what the hell is this? It was literally Velcro. He made it. It was a do-it-yourself Home Depot putting green. No turf, no nothing. Just kind of like, I don't even know what you would call it, what it's made out of. And he just left it in the living room.
Didn't want to splurge $100 to order a real one.
No,
off the
that
internet.
hasn't changed. I wouldn't trust anything Wyndham to do it himself.
He could afford it. He could afford it now. That was when he was all PXG'd out. Yeah. Although they might have paid him. PXG might have paid him pretty good.
Bank account looks a little different now.
Different time.
All right, last one. Just finished your rookie season. Most impressive player you played with all year?
I played with JT at the Zozo. It was nice to see him in good form, and he was ball striking it really nicely, just in total control. Was kind of turning over the driver from right to left. So I would say I was pretty impressed with his ball striking in that round. I haven't played with Scotty this year. I was very impressed with Sai around the greens. He got crazy hands. I mean, he was making some ridiculous up and downs. Ridiculous at the U.S. Open. So in terms of ball striking and short game, and then I mean, obviously Denny, when I play with him at home, he just has a habit of all of a sudden just making like 4 25-footers in a row, and you're just like, what? Like, how am I supposed to compete against this guy?
Yeah, he can roll it.
It's just, he's streaky roller. It's like he doesn't make it, and all of a sudden he's making it from everywhere.
Yeah,
so
it's fun
but
to watch.
I'm gonna make sure I let him know next time I see him that I'm a better putter than him. I don't know if he's going to take that lightly.
I feel like you're kind of along those same lines, though. I feel like you make more 20-footers in a given round than like almost anyone.
I do. I was looking at those stats. I think I'm number one on tour from outside of 20 feet. And you could probably go outside 15 feet too. It's just because I watch all these guys practice at starting the ball in line. And I'm just like, putting is actually 50% speed, 40% green rating, 10% starting on line. So I rarely practice start line drills. I practice speed almost entirely. And so I won't even putt to a hole a lot of the time. And so I just think a lot of guys have it backwards. But I'm not going to be the one to tell them.
Yeah, there you go. A free lesson
secret
for our listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, Max, man, thank you so much for joining us. Congrats on a great rookie season. Look forward to seeing you out there in 2025.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, boys. See you in
You got it.
January.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks for the time.
All right, that was Max Greyserman joining us on Subpar. Goes about it a little different than some of us. Very much into the
Reminds
statistics.
me of myself and the way I attacked the
but
game.
slightly different. But
Right.
a lot of fun to him. And I told you on our SiriusXM show, I said my dark horse prediction is Max Greyserman will be in contention at Augusta National in his very first Masters. I think his game sets up perfect for it. We'll see if I'm right.
There you go. I mean, he smashes it and puts it good. Second shot golf course at Augusta. Typically, rookies don't have the greatest success there, but he checks the boxes. And like he's a guy, if you're looking for a sneaky kind of breakout guy for 2025, he might be it. Like the secret's out after the way he finished in 2024, but like he does the two things that matter the most out there, in my opinion. Hit and smashes it and puts it good. Makes
right.
more 20-footers than anyone.
Well, let's get to some gambling.
Spieth.
Yeah, let's get to some gambling here. Okay,
Let's do gamble.
I gave you another winner last week. My Dallas Cowboys were catching 2.5 against the Carolina
They're a
Panthers.
juggernaut. It's time
Dude,
to
we're
break them
so
up.
back.
It's time to break them up.
But so I'm just gonna see.
Cooper Rush, max deal.
Calm down. I'm gonna see if I can just keep this little heater going. I think I've missed 2 games. I think this entire season since football started.
Self-suck.
On this show. Self-suck. Yeah, I can afford to put some in there with
Yeah,
all these
you're winning.
winnings I've
Let's
got.
go.
All right, so hey, look, my boys helped me last week. I'm gonna hopefully hope they help me this week. My SMU Mustangs are in the college football playoffs. They're heading up to Happy Valley. Place is a dump. Okay, they're catching 9 points against Penn State.
Yikes.
Give me my Mustangs
Yikes.
to advance to the Fiesta Bowl against Boise State out here in beautiful Arizona.
Wow, first time on the grid of relevancy in college football, call Happy Valley a dump. There'll be about 110,000 people that disagree with that. Whiteout game, by the way. And just for the sake of argument, I've been perusing the lines, and I'm going to go ahead and just, for the first time, I'm going to go on the other side.
Oh, wow.
The Nittany Lions giving 9, not enough. Not enough. They're going to line it up, run it down their throats, and the ponies will go.
Guess you haven't seen our D-line. We got a bunch of Clydesdales.
A bunch of big ponies.
Yeah.
Big pony. You're going to need them.
We ain't scared
You're
of the
gonna need
Lions.
'em.
I'll get you a ticket to that SMU Boise State game.
I'm available.
All right.
I'm available.
Well, best of luck to your Nittany Lions. I know
I
you're pulling
love
hard
them.
for
I
them.
love Happy Valley, by the way.
On a
Shout
serious
out to all
note,
my Penn
let's
State.
go SMU Mustangs. Bring it home for me. It's been a lot of fun this season. And it's
Love you
also
guys.
been a hell of a year for
Yeah.
us here at Golf Subpar. Thanks to all of our guests, producer Mark, everyone behind the scenes that takes care of us, and all of you that out there that watch every single week. Come up to Sleaze and I. Tell us how much you love the show. We really appreciate it, and we can't wait to be back in 2025. Happy New Year, everyone.